what do you feel like for somebody besides obviously the training and getting hands-on experience? What do you feel like are resources to go to? Say like, I'm thinking about it. Like I'm thinking about besides like Joe Blow at the gun shop or the dude at Academy who works in the gun section on weekends.
Are you talking about advice, like as far
I'm just
as
talking,
how to get started?
Like those kind of things. What would you say are good resources for? Hey, maybe you've been thinking about, man, I because I want to keep my family safe. Like where's some resources I could go to and do research that's credible.
Rent
Let's
it,
put
test
that way.
it. I like your thoughts as far as that. You said it a little earlier.
There are, I mean, now that we have YouTube, the internet, and we've got so many sources to where, I mean, like, and I hate to compare it to this, but like whenever we were growing up, take baseball, for example, like you had to know someone that gave batting lessons to go get batting lessons, right? Now you don't have to. You can climb onto the internet, you can pull up reputable coaches, and you can watch video after video after video that helps teach you the proper form and technique for batting, right? Mm-hmm. Same thing. I mean, they've got people that began their martial arts career by teaching themselves off of instructional videos that they bought off the internet. So I think the first resource that you could look at, if you don't have someone that you know that is either in law enforcement, in competitive shooting, or is just knowledgeable in general in firearms, is going to the internet.
Okay, well, let me, because, and you started with baseball as the example, and this isn't like a devil's advocate kind of thing, but like I know playing baseball growing up and having successful people that I worked with and having different people and different things, everybody has their own idea what the best thing is, right?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's like some people are going to tell you all day long, well, I only shoot this because this is the blah, 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 blah. And even where it comes to technique, carry technique, draw, like holster and reholster and reload and all of those things. I'm not even talking about speed shooting. I'm talking like just regular, everyday carry. So I'm telling you, like, hey, I want to see what is applicable for everyday guy. Who would I watch?
I mean, they've got a plethora of people that are on there. You could start with your military guys that have had years upon years of training in the military. They've got a ton of law enforcement guys that are out there. They've got civilian guys that, like you were talking about, that shoot competition. And you're 100% right. If you go to a guy or a woman that is teaching you and they tell you this is the only way to do it, run.
Yeah.
Leave. Walk away, because it's not.
Well, it's just like hunting. You know, they tell you when you shoot a bow, there are different positions to hold the nock while you're pulling it back, and you know what not to do. And it's one person's opinion over the other. I mean, just how you squeeze, like squeezing a trigger. And this is one thing I learned when I first started shooting out here, because I'll be honest, I didn't start shooting until I moved to Texas.
You just fan it.
Yeah, I was, but I didn't learn that my squeeze, if I was squeezing too hard, I'm pulling the bullet down, right? And there's different touches and feels you have to feel in different guns to actually know what's going to handle how you squeeze under pressure, how you what's comfortable for you. And that's where particularly an opinion's great on the internet, but you still need to get out and do it.
Oh, absolutely. 100%.
Right? And that's where, like, you could go to any range in any state and rent a gun for that session to test it, to see your accuracy, like you said. And you're never going to really know, like, I said, man, I like Springfield products, right? And I learned that through times of shooting it, and I kind of forced myself into that too. But at the same time, It's like, go try a Glock, go try a Springfield, go try different varieties of guns, see what you shoot best and what's most comfortable. Because, man, one millimeter of squeeze and you're completely off the target. You know, you're aiming for the head and you're shooting the nuggets. So it's like, it's completely different. And even if you're on it, but I'm just saying, you know, I'm poking fun in it, but it's very minimal if you don't train yourself in it, the things you could do to take you off target.
Yeah, training is 100% key.
Right.
If you're looking for
You like the nugget?
like knowledge on type of gun and things like that, you can absolutely go to the internet and look. And like, there's one guy that I enjoy watching, Hickok 45 on YouTube. He's an old guy that lives out in the country, and he reviews every gun. And he has built a platform to where the gun manufacturers actually send him their guns.
Yeah, they just send them to him.
And they're like, hey, dude, you've got such a following. You do such a good job with this. Will you put a review out on our gun? So there are a lot of places on the internet that you can look and find out and get feedback on specific types of gun. Now, if you want hands-on training,
Yeah.
the wonderful thing about living in Texas is you've got Tim Kennedy, Sheepdog Response. You've got Paul Howell, who's got a ton of courses that you can go to. So they're all over. So you can climb on the internet and you can look up and look at the instructor's resume. You want to make sure that they've got accreditations and that they're a legit person that you're going to. And it does come down to you pay for what you get. Like, you might pay a little bit more money, but you're probably going to get somebody that's a lot more knowledgeable, that has a reputation, which is the reason that they ask for the price that they do. And you can get out there and actually put hands on, rounds down range. And you brought it up earlier, there's a difference between competition shooting and then more of a tactical side of shooting. Right. Because once you get your heart rate up, once you get your lactate threshold up, being able to sit there and plink targets with no stress whatsoever, can become a very easy thing to do.
Right.
And you can get very proficient at it and very good at it. But as soon as you have to run 50 yards and then run 50 yards back, do 10 push-ups, then do 10 jumping jacks, now pick up that gun and just put one round on target. You got people that completely miss the target and they were stacking them like this before. Yeah. So you have to train according to...
You had me at run.
Well, I mean, look at the Olympic shooters and stuff like that, where they're going through their what is it called when they're doing the cross-country skiing and then they shoot targets that are super small downrange, and how much practice they go into it with. And, they're hitting not 100% of those targets. And these people are on target, I mean, they're in the Olympics.
Yeah, and I mean, that's a different type of shooting. If we're talking about everyday carry, then you want to be training on how you're going to operate in a high-stress situation. When your heart rate is jacked through the roof, when it is like your hands are shaking, you have to be able to control your breathing, find a way to settle your mind. And that's why I say it
steady the nerves.
It also starts with a plan before you even buy that gun. Like, you have to know what you're capable of and what you can do.
Right. Well, and just knowing too, they're different calibers bring different things, right? I mean, we were talking a 40 caliber is a heavier gun than a 380. Or a 9 millimeter or something like that.
I mean, the weight difference, I don't think would play as much of a factor, but the 40 round notoriously is a little bit snappier.
Yeah.
So your recoil management is going to be different on that 40. They've gotten better with the 40 round, but I mean, like our department, when we originally went to a standardized gun, we went with the Smith & Wesson M&P, and we had it in the 40.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't like that gun. To me, whatever gun you have is a tool, and you just need to become proficient with that tool.
Right.
the Smith & Wesson M&P may not be my preference on what to carry, but it's what I have to carry. So that is my tool, and I have to become proficient with that tool. Right. So if you're not as comfortable with it, then you need to put in the time on the range so that you are comfortable with it. And that 40, whenever we had it in that Smith & Wesson M&P, was snappy. I mean, there were some people with smaller hands or that weren't as big a people that had trouble with recoil management on that, and when you have to put multiple rounds downrange, it either takes longer or they're just not accurate with it. Mm-hmm. And then as all of the studies came out on the rounds, the velocity, the impact, everything with it, 9mm was at the top, and it was king of those rounds at the time. And we got rid of the 40 in the Smith & Wesson M&P, and we stayed with the Smith & Wesson M&P, and we went with the 9mm. And it's more manageable, and as you become more proficient with your firearm, you'll be able to tell those differences and the intricacies in that round, in the gun. Mm-hmm. Like, there's a difference between a 9mm Smith & Wesson M&P, that we carry, the 2.0, and a staccato 9mm, which is based off of the 1911 platform. Like, those two guns are worlds apart. You got a $550, $600 gun, and you got a $3,500 gun. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, the difference in being able to shoot those, recoil management, that it starts to come down to the weight of the gun.
Efficiency, products, cleaning,
how it's put together. Stuff. And you truly start to understand and feel and notice those differences, whereas somebody that's just picking up a gun for the first time, maybe you shouldn't put glaring differences like that, but if you put my SIG P365 XL next to your Hellcat, next to your, what did you say you had, Springfield? EMP, they might not be able to tell the difference between all of that, because those are similar guns, right? But as you get more proficient, as you get more knowledgeable, as you understand grip and recoil management, you'll be able to pick out those differences between guns, and that's where you truly go, that's the one that I want to carry. Because my grip is different than your grip is different than your grip. Yeah, I mean, just difference in hand size, it really comes down to that, and then it comes down to angle of how the grip module on the bottom is. So the grip, is it more of a vertical grip, or does it have more of an angle? Like Glocks tend to have more of an angle, and 1911 tends to be
a little more straight up.
So there are a lot of intricacies with it. Like a 1911, you've got a slide safety. Mm-hmm. So somebody that's used to shooting a Glock, they're going to pick up a Glock, and the safety is on the trigger, right? Yeah. So once you depress the safety on the trigger, boom, boom, boom. So when you pull it out, you can present it immediately, and all you have to worry about is finger trigger discipline and putting rounds on target. Whereas a 1911, it's got a slide safety on it. It's also got a grip safety on it. So you have to grip it properly to engage that safety on the beaver tail. Your thumb has to come down, disengage the slide safety. Now you can come, and all of these things happen in one smooth movement once you become proficient. But there are different things that you have to work through with each gun. Some of them have safeties on them. Some of them don't. Like, you really have to put hands on and figure out what you're comfortable carrying, because some people aren't comfortable carrying a striker style, handgun that is sitting in the front of their pants, that all it takes is that trigger to be pulled, and your twig and berries are gone. Yeah, nuggets. So
no sauce.
Not to be confused.
Which is why it's important to come down to a good holster. And I try and tell people all the time, I think the holster that I carry right there, the Tier 1 concealed, I think it's about a $170 holster. But if you're going to spend, $500, $600, $700 on a gun, and depending on what you do to the gun, are you going to have a light on it? Are you going to have a red dot on it? Are you just going to work iron sights? Your gun,
bipod.
An iPod on it.
No, a bipod.
Bipod. I was like, an iPod.
Quad pod.
Get you some shooting music.
My pistol has a bipod.
That's that Desert Eagle.
Yeah. The 50.
The guns can become pretty expensive, and it's not hard to have a gun that's going to be $1,000 plus.
Right.
So
Yeah,
if you've got
easy.
a gun that's $1,000 plus, why not spend?
Don't
up
put it
to
in a
200?
gym sock.
Exactly. Like, it's what you're carrying it in. It's what's protecting it.
Right.
And then it comes down to how comfortable is that holster. Because I can tell you right now, if it's not a comfortable holster, you're not going to wear it. So it comes down to comfort. It comes down to, can you holster and reholster easily without having to use two hands? There are a lot of intricacies to it. So it's not an easy, just overnight decision that needs to be made. And there's a thought process behind it.
I was just wondering how you conceal in your schmedium shirts.
This is a large.
I'm just being a jerk.
I keep it in this crevice.
Had it creative.
Right here.
Laugh. Well, that's me. I just tuck it in my belly fat. It's good.
But I can, well, never mind. We're not even going to talk about it.
What?
No, skip it.
So I've got an interesting question. Concealed carry versus open carry. What are y'all's thoughts?
I think you should only open carry if you have a 6-shooter.
Ah, okay. And like in a
Like tied down on your leg.
braided leather,
Absolutely.
Straight up white herb style.
one or two.
Just depends on where you're going. Walmart, 1. HEB, 2.
And there needs to be the music behind you. Like, you need theme music with that too.
Okay.
Like you know,
I
you need spurs.
I tend to, if I carry on my person, it's a secret. Then I don't want to advertise that I carry. I don't think,
Because who's the first person that Crook's gonna shoot?
well, I don't think I need to advertise. I don't think like the potential of me shooting you is going to stop you from being an idiot. If that's you. And so it's kind of like, that's what I think, unless you have a wheel gun like that. I think then have at it, man. I would tie it down and put that sucker on my leg and
Rock it.
go shopping.
There you go.
Where are you going? The mall.
Beyond, it's like Mad Max style, you know.
Yeah.
You
I mean, not
Beyond
if you're
Thunder.
wearing gym shorts.
Yeah, but no, because at open carry it becomes more of a status symbol too. To some people, they look at me. I have something. I'm not knocking guys that do it. I think the comfort probably more is in concealing it than having it out there. But that's, I guess, our personal opinions.
But I mean, at the same time, I think to some degree, obviously, it's more comfortable to like actual comfort. If I
is
have
more comfortable.
my good holster on the side of my belt and my, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm not worried about where my firearm is hitting, rubbing. I'm not worried about printing and going to the range or going somewhere like that where, for me, that's an open carry scenario, or you're doing tactical shooting or those kind of things. I mean, obviously that it's more comfortable.
Agreed.
In just a comfort situation. And so, that's kind of where I'm at. Public, I definitely don't want to be. For me, it's about advertisement.
Okay. Is there a public scenario that you would carry open? Like an everyday, not like there's a special event and everybody's carrying it
the
open.
only thing I went to was like a special event.
Right. So aside from that,
Prom.
As the chaperone.
Yeah. Prom and no. And apologize. That probably sounds bad with school. I don't really mean that. No, I don't. Nothing really jumps in.
Okay.
Nothing jumps into my head.
And I'm not saying that there's a right or a wrong answer. I'm genuinely curious because I used to be. I had very strong feelings against open carry, and I've started to try and open my eyes up and see, like, not be judgmental whenever I see it, and think that, okay, I mean, first of all, we have a Second Amendment right. State of Texas has said you can open carry. It's not against the law. So I've tried to kind of change my view to not be judgmental whenever it comes to that, because I used to look at that and I would be like, God, that guy's an idiot. And this is just me being honest, because my first thought is, if something goes bad, if I'm the bad guy, you're the first one that I'm coming for. If I walk in and I'm scanning a place and I am looking for who is my threat, if I see a guy open carrying, you're going to be the first person that I go to, if I'm about to commit some heinous crime or whatever. Whereas if you're properly concealed carrying, I have no clue that you have that.
Right.
So I'm trying to open my eyes a little bit more and kind of understand why people would do that. I used to look at it and go, it's a machismo thing. It's a look at me type thing.
Yeah.
Well, and I think to some degree, like, in every demographic has like their dudes that are just normal and they have a valid reason why they open carry.
Yeah.
And then there's jackwagons that like to carry a pistol around because it makes them feel,
right.
Whatever. I mean, it's the same concealed idea too. It's like where you got the guys that do it, and it's how they operate, how they go about their life, whatever. It's not a big deal. It's never a discussed kind of thing. And then you got the guys that do it because it's a
status symbol,
exactly, or some kind of thing like that. And you find that whether it's firearms, whether it's what kind, vehicles, and
absolutely,
blah blah. You know what I mean? It's always a measuring.
Right, but so the thing is, though, if I drive a gigantic jacked up truck with 40-inch tires on it, that's not going to get me killed.
Right. No, exactly.
Whereas potentially, me open carrying and letting everybody know. I used to be of the mindset of open carry is great if everyone is doing it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So if it is
a fair playing field,
if it's an Old West type scenario, where everybody open carries, then if I'm a bad guy looking to do bad, I walk in and 9 out of 10 people in there are open carrying, I'm going to turn around and walk back out and I'm going to go find another place, But if there's one, so I'm looking because I kind of want to open my eyes up. So if anybody is listening and you don't mind commenting
You're an
on
advocate.
it, let us know.
It's not a secret if you're open carrying. So just get on there and type the thing. This is why I do it.
Please do. And I'm not passing judgment in any way, shape, or form. And I'm trying to get away from that because the old me immediately passed judgment. I saw that and I was like, that person just wants that status level. They want people to look at them. There's no other reason to do that. And I'm talking out in public. Because if I have property and I'm out on my ranch or I'm out on my acreage, I'm carrying.
You're walking out to the blind. You're walking out to the blind. Because it's on your hip. You're
whenever
ready.
I'm bending over to take care of things, I don't want something jamming me in. Like you were talking earlier,
exactly.
I don't want something jamming me in the stomach. I don't want to have to worry about
if I'm out
what
in the woods like that. I come out like Arnold
Mm-hmm.
Schwarzenegger. I've got guns draped over every shoulder and that belt, the bandolier thing, and pistols on both sides, and a sword, just in case. Zombies show up.
Yeah, it's better
with
to have
the
it
cows.
and not need it than need it and not have it, right?
Exactly.
But I think that there are plenty of scenarios where open carry is appropriate. But living in Austin and living in larger cities, I kind of wonder, and then it comes to, with the open carry, what retention is that holster? Right. How easy is it for somebody to walk up behind you and
use your weapon against you.
Right. So you've got, and that's where the research into holsters is important, whereas a concealed holster, you don't have to have as high of a retention level because nobody sees it or the ability to get to it. But if it is openly displayed out on your side, there needs to be a level of retention to it, or multiple levels of retention to it.
I figured it out.
Well, and that's where that double click holster I was even talking about earlier, I think that was his thing, is it's one where you're pushing in, and it looks like if you carry an open, you could walk up and pull it right out, but it's actually retained by a pressure button on the backside that you have to know how to use to get it out right away.
Right.
And you can't pull from the front on it. So I think it was meant for open carry.
Yeah, that's why I was asking. I figured it had something to do with retention. Okay.
I
Hang
know.
on, Jason's got
I got it figured out.
An idea.
Because I'm going to start to open carry.
Okay.
That gun's going to be empty.
Oh, okay.
So when that guy comes for the gun, he's going to take it. It's like a decoy.
Ah.
And then I'll have the other one.
Isn't that
concealed.
entrapment?
Yeah. No, I don't know. I'm not a cop. I was like, he took my gun.
Talking about
I forgot that that's an empty magazine. Yeah. I dare you.
People
I dare you. I've got $1,000.
Please.
all the
in my
leather
pocket.
law and the advice we were given earlier was just thrown out the window.
Yeah, no,
Just go straight at it
that
and
gun's
bait
empty.
people
It's a
into
decoy. Yeah, it's a decoy. If that doesn't work, I tie a little
old
string
empty
on it
gun
and I
trick.
throw it, and I'm like, oh, who's gonna get this gun?
You're gun fishing for
Isn't that like putting corn in the deer feeder and waiting for the deer to
Sort of. It's same kind of slightly kind of concept.
We can bait deer in Texas. Why not people, right?
Oh,
I mean,
Lord.
and even like,
Jeez.
you know, what the with there's
Just jokes, people. Comedy podcast.
Yes, very.
like
very
even
jokingly.
like me personally, there for me on an everyday basis, there's not
Jesus back here.
there's not a lot of days that I'd say like carry every day on my person. For me, it becomes more specific kind of thing. And it's like, I really got into more of that. You know, I used to work in the oil field, that kind of thing. And, you know, we're down by border towns and cartels and those kind of things. And I've had guys walk out of the woods. It's 3:00 in the morning. It's 3:00 in the morning. I'm pulling up to a guard gate, and 5 men walk out of the dark, and the guard's not coming out, and he's not opening the gate, and they're walking towards my vehicle, and it's me by myself. And it became a moment of, okay, here's the issue. You can keep walking if you want to, but I want you to know right this minute that there's going to be consequences if you continue to.
There are a lot of directions you can go. The one
Exactly.
towards me is not the one you want to pick.
Next to where I'm at is the wrong answer.
Right.
And
You're moving too close to my circle of trust.
and until they walked off, then the guard came out, then all of this stuff and things. And, you know, there became more scenario specifics where I would carry more. And, you know, at the same time, the other side of that is we've seen school shootings, we've seen parking lot shootings, we've seen church shootings, we've seen random shootings, we've seen all of these things where you can justify for your safety almost carrying every minute of every day, and it be absolutely justified based on you protecting your life and liberty and all of the people, you know, your family, your vehicle, your space. And so I really still kind of waver back and forth on what that looks like for me. You know what I mean? But definitely, and even more so, I tend to carry more with family around in areas where, you know, I would say it's a more higher risk kind of thing as opposed to myself in the same area.
Do you ever, let me ask you this, do you ever go over scenarios with your family when you're carrying? Like if if this happens, this is what I expect y'all to do. Or this is what I'm going to do, and this is what I expect y'all to do.
I have done that in instances where I feel like there's more possibility of imminent danger. Hey, if something happens, here's where you go, here's what you do, here is your gathering point, and I'll meet you there, or I'll be behind you, or whatever. You know what I mean? As far as but yeah, they're in those situations, I do tend to have a plan of action. And like I said, now at this point, even more so when the kids were smaller, you know what I mean? When they were younger, now, they're in their 20s and those kind of things. And, my band of my wolf pack that I had to protect has now become a wolf pack of, there's a whole lot of wolves that'll bite you now.
Yeah.
So
bite back.
Yeah. Now it's like my wolf pack has become an army. And so the scenario has changed from, duck and cover, daddy's got you, to
You better get up on line with me.
here you go, let's shoulder
Reservoir
up.
Dogs.
And my girls are still, they become priority. My girls, my wife, boys, this is our precious cargo.
Right.
You know what I mean? But I expect, and I know that they would, my boys would toe to toe, and it would be a reckoning. That type of thing. So yeah, it used to be. And I remember, you remember when I was a kid, we would go into Houston, and I'm not saying anything bad about Houston, because cities are cities, right?
Right.
But when you come from a smaller town and a smaller place, and we'd go into Houston, and we're going to the gallery, or we're going to this, and we would get like that pep talk of, hey, don't go around jacking around looking at these people, or saying this, or saying this is a different environment.
Right.
And so you got to be more aware, more observant, and so the same kind of thing. But
Jeff, do you ever discuss plans with your family if something happens?
I think it's more like home protection plan.
I'm talking.
I've
That
never
is a
watched
valid point. So
Yeah.
home plan you 100% should have with your family.
Yeah.
But if y'all are out and about,
Yeah, I've never gone over. I mean, I grew up in Chicago, so I mean,
we've heard that a couple of times.
yeah. I mean,
I wasn't sure. I knew it was somewhere up there.
it's
Charleston?
shoot before you're shot. No. Yeah, I never actually have thought that far into it. So now, that sparks a little thought into it. But definitely a home plan, but nothing outside of a home plan. Like, what if we're caught in this situation? I just expect that, we're gonna go down swinging, and we're gonna protect mom and sis in the same way. But
So my
that's
advice would be and it doesn't have to be a super detailed plan, because locations and everything are going to change every
course,
time that you
right.
leave the house. But having a generic plan of, hey, if this happens, I'm taking care of it. As dad with younger kids and with a wife, I'm taking care of it. Mom, you need to grab kids and you need to go opposite direction. Okay? Pick up that phone, dial 911. Let them know what's going on, where it's going on.
Stop
and
recording.
Let them know that I'm involved, and give them a description of me.
no YouTube.
Yeah.
No, it's
World Star.
yeah, exactly.
No,
No, I mean,
Facebook
too,
Live,
I think in that it becomes, again, for me, location specific. Dad's not going to go hunt down a crowd shooter.
Right.
You know what I mean? We're in
we don't seek
a
imminent
big
danger.
Fiesta, Texas. Somebody
Right.
starts popping off, or anywhere like that. What was the one where, like, the concert or whatever,
Vegas?
and Vegas, and those kind of things. It's like, Dad's not going. No. There's professionals. Here is where we meet.
Right.
If we're not together, here is where we meet.
You know, that's a valid point because my first thought in that scenario, and that's just me in my career field, is like somebody's got to stop that threat. And my first thought is the best way to stop a bad guy with a gun is a good guy with a gun. And when I think of those scenarios, my instinct and my training is immediate. Y'all go to safety and let me go and end the threat.
I didn't say I was going directly there.
Right, yeah. No, and I'm not saying that y'all wouldn't. I'm just saying it is food for thought, though.
Way through a storm, right?
Yeah.
Run at it.
Wow.
Buffalo to the storm.
Well, no, and I do.
But it is a valid point that, like you're talking about, if you
gotta know
hear,
what you're doing.
if you're in the mall and you hear rounds going off, as a father and as a husband, like your priority should be to get your family to safety.
Of course.
And lead them to safety and protect them as you bring them to safety. Right. You know, so it's you are right. Like you're not going to go down and hunt down where those
It's not the
shots
movies.
are coming from.
Yeah.
And like you said, let the professionals handle that.
The other side of that,
Now, if it's right there in front
if
of
it's
you,
in front of me, there's no way I'm there. The way I am, there's no way that I'm going to turn and run.
right.
It's not going to happen. It
Right.
just that's
So that's and that's kind of what I'm talking about, like getting that plan together that, hey, if we do go to the mall or if we do go to HEB and we're in frozen foods and we hear shots ring out and produce, which is on the other side, right? What are we going to do? Like,
you're
I'm going
double
to take
holstered
y'all.
in HEB.
Oh, that's where you open carry. I forgot. Walmart is one gun.
One.
HEB is
HEB
two.
is two.
So,
Yeah.
but it is you want to take
Dollar
your
General's
family.
a blowgun.
Blow dart.
Poison?
Of course.
Okay.
It's the only way to carry a blowgun. Those little
I used to
frogs.
have fun with those as kids.
But get your plans together and have those laid out before. And again, the more detailed they are, the harder it's going to be able to follow whenever the stress is high, right? Of
course.
We do live, and we've talked about this with our kids, but we do live in an age of technology. So if you do tell your family, hey, go find a safe place to go to, boom, pull up 360 when you've either handled the threat or gotten to a point to where somebody else has handled the threat and you can find your family and get back to them, call them, text them, whatever it is.
Mark yourself Facebook safe.
Yeah. Jeez.
Check in.
Put up a flag that, oh, geez, don't get me started.
Come on.
Yeah.
But those are important things that I think you need to do. If you're going to make that commitment to carry, you need to make a commitment to what extent you're willing to go with that weapon that you're carrying, and then to what extent that plan is going to be with your family if that worst case scenario happens.
Well, in you know, it's that biblical order, though. It's God, then family, and in the situation, you're not running at the problem. You're getting your family out first because that's who you're set to protect. You're put in front of them first, and then you move on to the next thing. And if you are in position to help with the situation, you know, we're not looking for heroes. We're looking for people that are smart, right?
Right.
And that's the whole point of this today. Is
Smart heroes.
Is well,
Yes.
is
Heroes typically are smart.
Yeah, they
That's
are.
what makes them a hero.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's you know, it's like we could go even. We were talking about this Hacksaw Ridge not too long ago when we were talking about movies. You know, where he was a conscientious objector.
Yeah.
But still, he was running to the problem to pull people out. And don't create more problems.
Right.
That's the biggest
course.
thing. And when you walk into a situation, and if you're new to guns or new to weaponry or new to any of those things, seek out the help. Go and find out what that feels like. Know it before you get it. Like there's so many times where people just go purchase a gun just to purchase a gun to say they have a gun. Don't be that guy, right? Don't be that guy.
Yeah.
Don't be that gal. I mean, whatever.
You're more of a danger to everybody else than
You can't fix that stupid. You know. So you know, as we point through it today, hopefully we've given enough advice to direct people on a path to protect and serve and help and go Use it for anything.
My recommendation is it's a God-given right.
Yeah.
It has been bestowed upon us through this wonderful country that we live in. Exercise it. But if you're going to exercise it, practice.
Right.
Be proficient. Be knowledgeable.
Well, I think even with that, I think that's the essence of any, like, if you're a believer, if you're a Christian,
Right.
be a responsible Christian. Don't be an idiot.
Right.
Don't be the guy that gives them the bad name. If you're a firearm owner, if you're a concealed carry, if you're an open carry, don't be the guy that gives them a bad name.
Don't be that guy.
Exactly. And it takes some discipline and responsibility and awareness of me, how I look, how I carry myself, whether armed, unarmed, whether believer with Christian t-shirt, my logo, and here's where I go to church and blah, 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 and all these things. Like we had a pastor that wouldn't hand out the little bumper sticker things or like the little decals. He's like, because you'll be the guy.
Cutting people off in traffic, flipping the bird.
Exactly.
With vertical chapel on the
You'll be
bumper
the guy
sticker.
flipping people off, giving all of, you know what I'm saying?
So I got a quick funny story.
Put it
my
on there
my
to make
old
sure I don't do
pastor,
those things.
my old pastor, and I love him to death. He used to drive a car, and his license plate was personalized with pastor, and he would joke about how he had to get rid of it because traffic would try his Jesus, and he knew that he had pastor written on the back of it, and he was like, I had to take it off.
Yeah.
He was like, we're not perfect.
Okay, so a long time ago in ministry, like on staff, in ministry, full time, this is my occupation. Me and my wife going to a event and car intersection. Long story short, birds were flying, mine. And my wife is like, you have got to be kidding me. I can't believe we're on the way to this thing. And I'm like, it was an idiot move. And I've got the right of way. And they pulled right out. We could have had an accident. It's on you. You can't be flipping people out. I'm like, well, I did. Whatever. Show up at the event, blah, blah, blah. And you're going, going through the little line. And I hear this conversation just kind of like over there, group of people. And this guy just flipped me off. And I'm like, and I look and I was like, oh yeah, I did. So I literally flipped off somebody going to the same event. And it was it. That was done. I hid from them because I didn't want them to recognize me. Yeah, I was very adamant about it. But yeah, that was my cure that time. And I used to yell at them. I used to call them all kind of names and like not good stuff. And we had this
Traffic will.
I'm good. Honestly, I'm a whole lot better now. It really, unless they're just,
Man.
The people I can't handle now are the entitled driver, like where coming out of the neighborhood, hey, everybody's going to work, but you have a stop sign. And they don't care. They just come out or they like, okay, I'm deciding I'm going to merge now. I don't care that you're there. I don't care that the road is done. And it's like, what happened to like the, hey, wave, okay, yeah,
Yes.
you good? And it's like, no, now it's my turn. Everything's my turn. And so like going home, the road goes from 2 lanes, it goes to 1 lane. It's a natural, that's the way the road's made. And you've got these people, if you're in this lane that's merging over, that are right on the bumper of the guy in front of them. You're not getting in front of me.
It's
Dude,
supposed to work like a zipper. Yeah,
exactly.
it's
We're
zipper
literally
merge.
going right there.
Yeah.
Why
Yeah.
are you so concerned? And I've had like literally, it's like, no. They're just going to go ahead and decide to try and push me off the road.
Mm-hmm.
And
Those are the ones that
That's why
I've held the birds at bay.
you try and point them to Jesus.
No, really. I haven't since that event.
Yeah.
I have not flipped off anybody else driving. And but it's like those are the drivers that really bother me now. Is the entitled driver.
So let's see if this gets taken off. But do you know the difference between a BMW and a porcupine?
No.
Porcupine, the pricks on the outside.
That's true.
Sorry,
that note.
stereotyping all BMW drivers. I'm sorry if you have a BMW.
Yeah. No, it's like I just anyway.
My wife would say I'm a very offensive driver.
Offended.
I offend. Yeah. But it's also an essence of how you were taught and what you were doing. I do follow zipper merge. I do not try and let people in, and I do wave even when people are mad behind me for letting.
You wave a little bit more.
I especially wave when they're mad.
Yes.
Yeah. Love you. We had a guy.
I even walk out for a high five and
going through a neighborhood, right? Because there's like a back way to get to my house. Yeah. Like when you leave the church, if you take a left, and I can go all the way down that little road, and then you cut through a neighborhood, right? And I'm doing the speed limit after work through that road, and it's right there. It's plainly this 30 miles an hour, and I'm doing a little below 30 miles an hour because it's a neighborhood and there's kids, and this dude comes running out of his house, effing slow to effing, and I'm like, dude, who are you? Get out of the road.
Guns to cars.
You're not the road police. They have a job. They're the police, and I'm under the speed limit, and you're going to get hit. And he's like, so I waved.
Look how friendly these neighbors are. They run out and welcome you.
I waved all the way to the light, and then,
My dad told me a long time ago,
really, come on.
rather than flip people off, blow them a kiss.
Okay.
You want to see somebody come unglued?
That looks very.
It's like, Dad, that's not the best advice.
Yeah. Yeah. No.
Oh.
But it's all good, man. Well, we're closing out with driving after talking about firearms. So they don't mix.
Well, yeah, because my firearm, especially when I travel, was in vehicle, and I have mentioned several. If you could just shoot their tires out, shoot their tires out, you'll merge now. But you can't.
You should work for
You
DPS.
probably shouldn't carry in a car.
I just want to. I'm not going to.
As long as you have control over those thoughts, there's not a problem.
I do. Yeah, I don't say them in public
Holy
on a
Spirit's
public
got
venue.
And the devil's.
I keep them to myself,
Yeah.
concealed like a decoy.
An empty gun.
Yeah.
You're putting it out there right now. You're open carrying, buddy.
Oh yeah. If y'all see me, it's a decoy. I've got 3 other guns. One's in my sock. I have one of those sock holster ones.
Oh. And throwing stars.
And a crossbow.
And nunchucks.
Yeah.
Oh.
I have too many
Old school
stories
butterfly
about
knife.
stuff like that. Yes, I used to have those, but hey, listen, there are days, and I know, say you've been tuning in and you've been watching us for a while, and you're like, okay, guys, we get it. That's good. Where is the spiritual content? Let me give you your 2-minute dose of spiritual content. As much as we worry about the guy with the gun, as much as we worry about homeland terrorism and those kind of things, there's an enemy that absolutely hates your guts. Mm-hmm. Every second, every breath you take, he cannot stand you. And the Bible does say that we do not wrestle against flesh and blood. And so I want to let you know your greatest weapon is your word and your relationship with him. And anything else after that is a supplement, because at the end of the day, your heart condition and your relationship and your personal walk with Jesus is the most important thing. It is the thing that you want to train your kids, that you want in your home, that you want as your daily weapon, as your daily lifestyle, and it'll save you from situations of getting out of control. It'll save you in those moments, and you'll be a lot better off. So if you miss the spiritual content and how to carry your pistol, how many guns are appropriate for Walmart or HEB, whether you should shoot a 40, a blowgun, or a 9mm.
Depends on the store.
We want to thank you for jumping in with us. I want to thank John for show and tell and just all of the wisdom and insight there. You don't get that kind of stuff without years of law enforcement and just the character that it takes to put yourself in harm's way for other people. I absolutely appreciate. And so, John, want to thank you. Jeff, as always, from Chicago. I'm
learning how to shoot with one hand to two.
Yeah.
And sideways.
Sideways with those night sights.
Bullets curving.
You can do that. I saw the movie. Move your arm fast enough. Jeff always has a different perspective, and that's why the three of us get together.
Absolutely.
It is three different perspectives on how you can still be the man that God made you to be, the man that you were created to be, the lady. Those ladies that are tuning in, because y'all have been talking that you love the thing. It actually really surprised me. Hey, keep at it. We love it. Share it with your friends. If you've got guns yourself, keep it up.
Add comments. I will say this. We've been talking about having a range day. Where we actually take the cameras out, take James out with us, and go hit the range. Have
I don't
a little
know why
fun
we
out on
didn't
the
do
range.
this episode then, but
Well, this will be like a
this
little intro to it.
the precursor.
There you go, an intro to it. But yeah, make some comments if you think it's a good idea. Let us know if there's some things that you want to see. Let us know.
Like
but yeah,
a barrel roll, like where you shoot
a tactical
and you're
barrel
rolling.
roll. That's right, like Point Break.
I'm not.
Yes.
Yes.
I'm not trying to come out of this shot. So it's
Hey,
okay.
we love you. Thanks. You can find us. If you're here, you know where you can find us. Tell your friends where they can find us. Like, subscribe, comment. We
helps.
appreciate you tuning in.
Yep.
Thank you so much. From close cover to you, we love you.